Everyone wants to own rental property. He wants some, she wants some, this thing wants some. Everybody wants to be introduced at a party as, that guy owns a property portfolio, or do you know she makes thousands of quid in passive income from property?
If you tell us you don't, we don't believe you. Maybe you're just scared that something will go wrong, but don't tell us that you don't want those juicy returns. Investing in buy-to-let is still the most accessible way for normal people to make 20% plus returns from investing. Passive stock market investing averages more like 8%, and high interest investments such as peer-to-peer lending average more around 6% pre-bonuses.
We know, because we're in the game, property investing can be difficult, complicated, carries risk. We know.
Get out of the stands and onto the pitch. If you're a normal human who wants to own investment property, like everyone must surely be, then let us demystify it for you.
There are 5 basic knowledge nuggets that you need to get au fait with before you start conquering. Get your head around these and you're onto a winner. Here's the 5 things you need to know about getting started in investment property. Let's check it out. Welcome to MoneyUnshackled.com, the investing channel and website that sets you and your finances free. This is Andy, I'm Ben, and if you like what we have to say, hit the like button and click subscribe.
This video is sponsored by LoanPad, the exciting new peer-to-peer lending platform specialising in property bridging loans. Receive a stable 5% interest when you invest in their premium account, which comes with first charge security protection as well as interest cover fund, auto invest function and secondary trading market. And get a £50 free cash bonus when you open an account and invest £1,000 plus with them for 1 year when you use a special link on the office page at MoneyUnshackled.com. We'll put the link to this office page in the description below, so be sure to check that out. Now let's get into the video.
Tip number 1. Leverage is everything. Using a mortgage is essential. Forget buying outright, you'll be saving up for years, missing out on returns. Better to buy now using someone else's money.
If you're going to buy property unleveraged, you might as well just buy into the stock market because the returns would be better.
Also, with a deposit size of 25% on most buy-to-lets, you can buy 4 times as many with the same lump sum. In this low interest reality we find ourselves in, mortgages don't cost that much each month anyway, not compared to 4 times the rent.
Using a mortgage as leverage means that you can purchase a property with far less capital than you might think. A £120,000 house in the north of England would cost you only around £35,000 all in. Go halves with a mate for 17.5 grand. We're talking about getting your first one here, and the most important return from this investment will be the knowledge you learn for your next 20 properties.
Tip number 2. Invest for cash flow, not capital growth. Investing for capital growth is a risky affair. Property prices in London are skyrocketing, says the news one day. Great for investors. Then a year later, London property bubble bursts, leaving investors high and dry. Our preferred way to invest in property is for cash flow, meaning that the property needs to have a tenant paying you rent, and that arrangement needs to make you a decent profit on a monthly basis, separate from any capital growth.
How to do it wrong. Accidental landlords who move home and rent out their pad or inherit a property often find that the economics of keeping the house as a rental don't work. They often just break even each month, or even lose money, because the maintenance and mortgage costs are often higher than the rent. They may be hoping for capital growth, but when does an asset become a liability if you're having to plough your own money into it each month to pay its bills?
How to do it right. Buy a property specifically for cash flow, one that pays high rent in that area and has a low house price, meaning mortgage payments will be low. Use an interest-only mortgage, not a regular repayment mortgage, as interest only will be a fraction of the cost to you each month. You want to get those profits in now so you can reinvest in more properties or even draw an income from them to live on. You ain't drawing income from a portfolio if you're paying down mortgages. Still, too many people are happy to buy houses to pay down the mortgages and retire in 30 years' time. Forget that.
Tip number 3. Forget being your own agent. Get that idea out of your head. Unless your people skills are amazing and you enjoy being all over your property portfolio, make your life easier and pay an agent. Managing a portfolio of tenants and maintenance is hard work. It's a pain in the ass, and other people are willing to do it for you for a small fee.
Managing a property portfolio where all you see of each house is a paper box that spits out money is far more enjoyable. Don't hoard your money while you run around sorting other people's problems. Loosen those purse strings and enjoy your investment.
Tip number 4. Know the basics. You're buying a property, a stack of bricks, pipes, wires and expenses. You should know a teeny bit about the construction and the maintenance of houses. Not to necessarily do the work yourself, though you could save yourself a fortune in maintenance if you can fix a 5-minute job yourself while you're there standing next to it. But more to avoid buying houses or flats in the first place that have major issues.
Go on a load of viewings accompanied by friends or family who know about houses. Maybe someone who's owned a house for a while, like your dad or your grandma, or a builder or plumber who works in houses. Just because you lived in a house your whole life doesn't necessarily mean that you were involved when things went wrong. Do you know the signs of damp? Or if a roof needs pointing? What constitutes a good central heating system? Does it even have central heating? You'd be surprised but some houses still don't. You will learn 90% of this boring stuff as you go, but for the first several viewings, take along someone with worldly knowledge who will be able to point out to them the obvious flaws.
Tip number 5, keep it simple. Single tenancies, simple life. HMOs are sexy on paper. What's not to love about renting out 5 rooms to 5 different people and taking 5 rents instead of 1? In real life, there's nothing sexy about dealing with 5 individuals' problems, infighting and mess, nor with the legal loopholes you have to jump through during setup.
Beginner investors only see the high returns on HMOs where tenants pay by the room and want in on the action. My first 2 properties were HMOs, but now I keep it simple. Normal 3-bed properties occupied by a person, couple or family. The returns are lower, but so is the stress.
Investment companies. Nah. Should you invest through a limited company or not? This isn't such a big decision at the start as it's made out to be. Unless you are already a high rate taxpayer, owning your first rental property in your own name is much easier. You get a better interest rate on your mortgage if it's in your own name, there are fewer hurdles to clear at the offset that you have with setting up a company, and your reporting of tax to the taxman is simpler, and you don't pay dividend tax when you take the rental income.
High rate taxpayers are practically forced into using company structures due to income tax being so unfairly high otherwise, but if you can keep things simple at first, do. Each subsequent property is then a different decision, and at some point a company will be useful to use, but unless you are already a high rate taxpayer, learn by doing and get there a step at a time. You have enough on your plate already running your first property without also having to run a company too.
The buying process. Chillax, dude. You're probably worried about the buying process. Solicitors, brokers, estate agents, insurance, mortgage lenders, stamp duty. Stop worrying. Keep it simple.
Just look on Rightmove for some houses that you want to view and go view them. When you find one you like, trust me, it all falls into place. Your house comes with an estate agent who is your first point of contact. They will tell you when you need to get a mortgage lender and how. They will also recommend mortgage brokers and tell you when you need to get a property solicitor, known as a conveyancer, and recommend one. You can get better value elsewhere by looking yourself, but as this is your first property, just keep it simple and learn by doing. You won't be too disadvantaged by just going with the flow and working out how to improve the process next time.
So pretty quickly you will be directed towards an estate agent, mortgage broker and solicitor. Your solicitor and mortgage broker will talk to the mortgage lender, who will check that your house is worth what you have offered, and the solicitor will tell you when you need to get landlord's insurance and explain stamp duty and how to pay that.
What are you waiting for? The main takeaway from all of this is just crack on with it. As soon as you can afford a deposit, get started. Get the numbers looking okay and put some offers on some houses. Before you know it, you'll be the mysterious stranger at parties with a property portfolio, telling the story of how you did it.
Question of the day. What else do you want to know about getting started investing in property? Message us in the comment section below and we'll do our best to get you rental ready. Thanks for watching! On this channel we talk about personal finance, investing and all things money. And if you want to see more great content, please click the subscribe button below.
This is moneyunshackled.com. See you next time.